Hello, my name is Teacher Sylvia and I'm with Options for Learning. And today's book that I chose to read to you is titled The Three Bears. And it has that title because on the cover we see three bears. And this story is written and illustrated by Paul Galdone. He's the person that wrote the story and drew the pictures. What do you think the three bears are going to be up to? Here we see a picture of a tree trunk with a sign on it, and the sign has the title of the book, The Three Bears. Let's enter and find out what happens. Once upon a time, there were three bears who lived together in a house of their own in the woods. So here we see the woods, and woods is another name or another word for the word forest. And we see maybe an owl in the tree. We see the bears are playing on the swing, and here's their home. One of them was a little wee bear, and one was a middle-sized bear, and the other was a great big bear. Well, if you look at their sizes, he's pretty big in comparison to these two, right? He's the biggest. Who's the smallest? Yes, the little wee bear. Then we have the middle bear, who's in the middle in between large and small. They each had a bowl for their porridge. The little wee bear had a little wee bowl, and the middle-sized bear had a middle-sized bowl, and the great big bear had a great big bowl. They each had a chair to sit in. The little wee bear had a little wee chair, and the middle-sized bear had a middle-sized chair. And the great big bear had a great big chair. There they are. And what are they doing? Yeah, they're reading books just like we are. Let's see what's next. And they each had a bed to sleep in. The little wee bear had a little wee bed. And the middle-sized bear had a middle-sized bed. And the great big bear, what size bed did he have? A great big bed. And there they are in their beds. Mr. Big Bear is yawning, getting tired, ready to sleep. One morning, the three bears made porridge for breakfast and poured it into their bowls. But it was too hot to eat, so they decided to go for a walk in the woods until it cooled. Do you know what porridge is? Porridge is something like oatmeal or cream of wheat. So it's very hot, so they're out taking a walk while it cools down. So while the three bears were walking, what do you think is going to happen? A little girl named Goldilocks came to their house. First she looked in the window, and then she peeked through the keyhole. Of course, there was nobody inside. Goldilocks turned the handle of the door, and she went right in. Should she be doing that if that's not her home? What do you think? Yeah, that's not safe to do. You should stay in your own home, right? The door was not locked because the three bears were trusting bears. They did no one any harm and never thought anyone would harm them. So Goldilocks opened the door and went right in. There was the porridge on the table, and it smelled very, very good. Goldilocks did not stop to think whose porridge it was. She went straight to it. And what do you think she's going to do? Yeah, let's find out if she does taste it. First, she tasted the porridge of the great big bear, but it was too hot. Then she tasted the porridge of the middle-sized bear, but it was too cold. Then she tasted the porridge of the little wee bear, and it was just right. It was neither too cold nor too hot, but just right. So Goldilocks liked it so much, she ate it all up. Was that okay to do? That was not her porridge, and she didn't ask. Then Goldilocks went into the parlor to see what else she could find. There were the three chairs. First she sat down in the chair of the great big bear, but it was too hard. Then she sat down in the chair of the middle-sized bear, but it was too soft. Then she sat down in the chair of the little wee bear, and it was neither too hard nor too soft, but just right. Goldilocks liked it so much that she rocked and she rocked and she rocked until the bottom of the chair, fell out, and down she went plump onto the floor. Oh no, how do you think the little wee bear's going to feel when he sees that his chair's broken? So Goldilocks went into the bedroom where the three bears slept. First she lay down upon the bed of the great big bear, but it was too high at the head. Then she lay down upon the bed of the middle-sized bear, but it was too high at the feet. Then she lay down upon the bed of the little wee bear, and it was neither too high at the head nor too high at the foot, but just right. Goldilocks liked it so much that she covered herself up and fell fast asleep. By this time, the three bears thought that their porridge would be cool enough, so they came home for breakfast. And who are they going to find in their home, and what are they going to see? Do you remember what happened in the beginning of the story? There's a lot to see there that happened. Goldilocks had left the spoon of the great big bear in his porridge bowl, and he noticed it first thing. "Somebody has been tasting my porridge," said the great big bear in his great big voice. And look at his face. Does he look very happy about that? He looks rather upset. Goldilocks had left the spoon of the middle-sized bear in her porridge bowl too. "Somebody's been tasting my porridge," said the middle-sized bear in her middle-sized voice. Then the little wee bear looked at his bowl. "Somebody has been tasting my porridge and has eaten it all up," cried the little wee bear in his little wee voice. And he does not look very happy either. Would you be if somebody ate something that belonged to you? So the three bears went into the parlor. Goldilocks had left the cushion crooked on the chair of the great big bear. Here's a cushion on the chair. He noticed it first thing. "Somebody has been sitting on my chair," said the great big bear in his great big voice. Goldilocks had squashed down the cushion in the chair of the middle-sized bear. "Somebody's been sitting on my chair," said the middle-sized bear in her middle-sized voice. And then what happened next? The little wee bear looked at his chair. "Somebody's been sitting in my chair and has sat right through it," cried the little wee bear in his little wee voice. Oh, would you be happy if you saw something that belonged to you that was broken? I don't think he's very happy. Well, let's see what happens next. The three bears went into the bedroom. And who are they going to see in that bedroom? Do you remember who's in the bed? Let's find out what happens. Goldilocks had pulled the pillow of the great big bear out of place. He noticed it first thing. "Somebody has been lying in my bed," said the great big bear in his great big voice. And again, look at his face. Not too happy about that. Or maybe rather surprised. Goldilocks had pulled the blanket of the middle-sized bear out of place. "Somebody has been lying in my bed," said the middle-sized bear in her middle-sized voice. Then the little wee bear looked at his bed. "Somebody has been lying in my bed, and here she is," cried the little wee bear in his little wee voice. Then this woke up Goldilocks at once. There were three bears all staring at her. So they look rather surprised to see each other. But based on the knowledge, based on what we learned about the bears in the beginning of the book, do you think they're going to do anything to her? Remember we read that they were trusting bears and they never did harm to anybody? So we're going to use that information from the beginning of the story to think about what's going to happen at the end. So let's see. I don't really think they're going to do anything to her based on that information. Let's find out. Goldilocks was so frightened that she tumbled out of bed and ran to the open window, and out she jumped. And she ran away as fast as she could, never looking behind her. So she ran out, scared, thinking the bears may do something, but did they? They just watched her jump out of the window. Let's see. No one knows what happened to Goldilocks after that. As for the three bears, they never saw her again. They don't look upset now, right? They're probably wondering what happened and who was this person here in our home. The end. And here we see our three bears, our great big bear, the middle-sized bear, and our little-sized bear, and our little wee bear. Hope you enjoyed this story as much as I did. See you next time.